Welcome back to our video series on Isaiah. We've now seen many important themes in Isaiah. Judgment is coming on the wicked in Israel and other nations, and yet God will bring peace and restoration to the righteous after the judgment, specifically through this special person, the divine Messiah, the servant of the Lord, the Son of God, who will come in human form and even suffer and die, carrying our sins, and then will raise up to life again and will come again in the future to judge the world. This Messiah is Jesus, as the New Testament explains. Next, I think there are three more themes which we see in Isaiah. Not only does Isaiah tell the nation of Israel to seek justice and stop hypocrisy, but Isaiah also talks about a special vision he had of God and tells us some beautiful things about who God is and how we should live in the light of that. Basically, it seems to me that the underlying theme behind these themes are that we should focus on God and his uniqueness and power and beauty and holiness. And as we do that, our problems and our fears about what people will think about us or do to us will fade away. So let's look at these next three themes together. In chapter 6, Isaiah relates this amazing vision that he had about God. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord seated on a throne, lofty and exalted, with the train of his robe filling the temple. Seraphim stood above him, each having 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And each one called out to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds trembled at the voice of him who spoke, who called out, while the temple was filling with smoke. Then I said, Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven. Then I heard the voice of the Lord, saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here am I, send me. He said, Go and tell this people, keep on listening but do not perceive, keep on looking but do not understand. So first, notice the time setting of this vision. It was in the year that King Uzziah died. The history shows that Uzziah reigned for a long time, around 52 years. So when a government has been a stable, peaceful monarchy for 52 years, and then the king dies, everyone would naturally be worried about what's going to happen and whether peace will continue or not. But the Lord allowed Isaiah to see a vision of himself seated on the throne. That's helpful for us to remember, too, that God is on his throne, ruling supreme over the affairs of the world, and using everything that happens, both good and bad, toward ultimate good. Genesis 50, verse 20. The statement that is made about God is that he is holy, and that's repeated 3 times for strong emphasis. Holy implies that God is perfect, clean, morally upright, and not defiled by any sort of sin or moral weakness. It also implies that God is separated from and exalted above any other persons, including angels. Isaiah's immediate reaction is to see his own sinfulness in comparison with God's moral purity. He says, Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Basically, every time someone sees God in the Bible, their response is to be very afraid, and either think that they're going to die or immediately fall on the ground. But here, God takes away Isaiah's sin with a coal from the altar, fitting with God's love, and also fitting with the general Old Testament pattern that the way back to relationship with a holy God is through removing our sins somehow through a sacrifice on an altar in God's presence. This points ahead to the great sacrifice that Jesus would offer in the future. After Isaiah is cleansed, God asks, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? This is one of the places in the Old Testament where God speaks of himself with plural pronouns, hinting at the Trinity, as he did also in Genesis 1, when he was creating the first man and woman and said that the two would become one. Then Isaiah volunteers, Here am I, send me, and God commissions him to go and prophesy to the Jewish nation, but tells him that he will not be successful in turning many of them back from their evil ways. This vision and commissioning may have happened at the beginning of Isaiah's ministry, or it may have happened after he had already started speaking God's messages, as we see this chapter 6 of the book. So this is a very unique view of who God is, that he is very honored and exalted, reigning over the universe from his throne, 100% holy, with his glory filling the earth.